Okay, we're going to look at cofunctions for 90 degrees plus an acute angle theta. Well, let's just take a look at it. Now, if you knew about transformations, you'd know that if you had an angle theta here, if you add 90 degrees, there's a rule for the transformation. And what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to take, if it's got the coordinates of x and y here, if you want to rotate it, what you do is you switch the x and the y, but you make the y negative. It's a rule that works. You can almost see it here. If you have theta and then you put 90 degrees, well, this angle up here would be 90 plus theta. You're in the second quadrant here. It's exactly the same triangle as this, but this opposite side that was y becomes the x coordinate over here. It should sort of make sense in the picture. You have to look at it for a little while. If you know about rotations and this transformation, it's just a rule. So this y value here becomes the x value over here. Well, what it means is, if you're saying, let's take a look, 90 plus theta. Well, normally, cosine theta is just x over r in this triangle. But over here, the x part now has become the y value, the opposite side. It's become the y value of this new angle. And so it's turned into the sine of 90 degrees plus theta. Well, it's still the same thing. Whenever you see 90, if you see cosine, if you see 90, you can just switch it to sine, okay? And if it's sine, you can switch it to cosine. The only thing you got to be careful of, 90 plus theta, sine is positive up here, so you don't have to worry about the sine. But if it's a cosine of 90 plus, well, cosine's negative in this second quadrant, so it makes the sine minus sine theta. Let's take a look at, so if you had sine theta here, it would be this y over this value here. Well, that's going to be the same as the cosine of 90 plus, but it's going to be negative here, right? Okay, so there you go. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's take a look at an example of a question here. So you just sort of apply this. And now the main thing is, whenever you see 90, if it's cos, switch it to sine. If it's sine, switch it to cos. So you only have to be careful about this one. If it's the cosine of 90 plus, just think, where did I go? You're at 90 degrees. You rotate into the second quadrant. You go counterclockwise into the second quadrant. It must be negative sine theta. Well, you have another reduction thing here, 360 minus theta. That's the fourth quadrant. Sine's negative there. A minus sine theta on the top, a minus sine theta on the bottom. When you divide, it just becomes positive 1. Well, we've got a bunch of questions on this that use a whole lot of cofunctions, not just cofunctions, but it's working with cofunctions all over the place here. So good luck with these, and we've got a memo so you can check your answers. But you have to practice a lot of these, and there's a lot of marks for this type of reduction in the exam, so it's good to know. Okay.